Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison. My motif was Greek and biblical allusions. Her breasts were firm and round as the domes of East Indian temples, and I stood so close as to see the fine skin and texture and beads of pearly perspiration glistening like dew around the pink and erected nipples of her buds. I wanted at one and the same time to run from the room, to sink through the floor, or to go to her and cover her from my eyes and the eyes of others with my body, to feel the soft thighs, to caress her and destroy her, to love her and murder her, to hide from her, and yet to stroke where below the American flag tattooed upon her belly her thighs formed a capital V. I had a notion that of all in the room she only saw me with her impersonal eyes, and then she began to dance, a slow sensuous movement, the smoke of 100 cigars clinging to her like the thinnest of veils. She seemed like a fair bird girdled in veils calling to me from the angry surface of some gray and threatening sea. I was transported. Then I became aware of the clarinet playing and the big shots yelling at us. During the first chapter of the book, before the battle royale, a blonde naked woman was dancing to distract the black boys. This was to keep their guards down and to keep them calm prior to the harsh realities of the battle royale. Invisible Man mentions feeling guilty, but he could not stop looking. This alludes to the sirens mentioned in Homer's Odyssey. Sirens were these beautiful creatures that would appear while the men were sailing. The men, completely entranced by their beauty, could not turn away, causing their ship to wreck. The sirens would kill them later on. The blonde woman acts like a siren. The men are lured into the battle, and Ellison wanted to show that there was no choice or a way out. The train seemed to plunge downhill now, only to lunge to a stop that shot me out upon a platform, feeling like something regurgitated from the belly of a frantic whale. Invisible Man heads to Harlem in New York City after being kicked out of the university with the false pretense of delivering 7 letters. The train goes underground and emerges in the new city. This alludes to Jonah and the whale. Jonah was an Israelite and God called him to be a prophet, and he ran away to sea. This angered God and he created a storm. The people on the ship with him realized that it was his fault, and they threw him overboard in hopes of saving their ship. A whale swallowed him, and 3 days later the whale spat him out. Jonah, grateful for his life, went to carry out his prophetic mission. While Invisible Man was in the university, his mission in life was not being accomplished. So by him leaving unwillingly, he is getting close to his mission of what his grandfather wanted. Being shot out upon a platform was the end of I Am's whale belly experience. This signals that I Am is now ready to carry out his mission. Quote 3, Biblical Allusion. And behind the film of frost etching the glass, I saw 2 brashly painted plaster images of Mary and Jesus surrounded by dream books, love powders, God is love signs, money, drawing oil, and plastic dice. Virgin Mary was a very pure and nurturing woman as she cared for everyone regardless. Mary Rambo symbolizes the Virgin Mary. Everyone in Harlem respects her and she cares for everyone no matter what. She takes Invisible Man under her wing and gives him a place to stay after he left the hospital. She also gives him advice and tells him not to get corrupted and to try to become a leader. She reminds him to stick to his roots. The hospital situation acted as the rebirth of I Am. Mary acted like his new mother, and she was one of the people who selflessly cared for him after a rebirth and tried to give him advice that would lead him down a good path. Quote 4, Greek allusion. I stared at the glass, seeing how the light shone through, throwing a transparent, precisely fluted shadow against the dark grain of the table. And there on the bottom of the glass lay an eye, a glass eye, a buttermilk white eye distorted by the light rays, an eye staring fixedly at me from the dark waters of the well. Then I was looking at him standing above me, outlined by the light against the darkened half of the hall. You must accept the discipline. Either you accept decisions or you get out. After I Am throws Todd Clifton a funeral, Brother Jack has a discussion with him asserting his power. His glass eye pops out due to the rage. I Am refers to Jack as Cyclopean. This is an allusion to the Cyclops Polyphemus in Homer's The Odyssey. In the Odyssey, Odysseus and his men land on an island in which Polyphemus resides, and they're blocked into the cave. Polyphemus the Cyclops then eats 2 men and another 2 in the morning before heading out to his sheep. Odysseus tricks the Cyclops by getting him drunk on some strong wine and saying his name is Nobody. Odysseus drives a stake into the eye of the drunken Cyclops and they escape the next morning hiding under the sheep. Ellison uses this allusion in the novel to compare Brother Jack to the Cyclops that Odysseus encounters. Like Polyphemus, Brother Jack only has one eye that symbolizes Jack's blindness to the world around him and does not allow him to see real world problems that the Brotherhood is causing. It also draws in the connection between the narrator and Brother Jack. Like Odysseus, the narrator takes on a new name and identity, and Brother Jack does not know who he truly is. Also, Brother Jack and the Brotherhood as a whole are willing to sacrifice lives that they deem useless, such as Clifton, in order to further their own agenda. In the Odyssey, Polyphemus eats men in order to satisfy his hunger and does not care about the lives he is destroying. The major flaw in both the Brother Jack and Polyphemus is their blindness to those around them, and is what ultimately allows the narrator to understand the truth and escape the Brotherhood, just as Odysseus uses the blindness to outsmart Polyphemus and escape the island. The Greek and biblical allusion motif best develops the central theme that one's own identity is realized through the actions that others put you through, meaning that one cannot realize their own identity through their own actions. They have to realize their own identity through the situations and the amount of the other actions that other people put them through.